What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to episode 40 of the Pentagon Challenge. Hopefully you guys are good. Lots of stuff happened here. On the Pentagon Challenge. But first things first, cheeky thank you for 40 episodes. Thank you for your support through all the episodes. It's kind of getting a bit tedious me thanking you every 10 episodes of all my series, because it just seems like every other episode I'm having to say thank you for something. But in all seriousness, 40 episodes is another crazy landmark for this series. Here's to 50 coming up soon. I need to get something planned for that. I'm thinking maybe just a really long episode with lots of live comms. And then 100 subs is not that far off the horizon. Who knows, maybe we can get it done before 100 episodes, or else I might be here for a very long time doing this series. But yeah, anyway guys, Chivas time, I guess. You'll notice in the top right the date is November the 13th. Lots of stuff happened, lots of fixtures to cover. Let's crack on straight into this. So the 13th of November marks the end of the opening season initial stage, which of course is the group stage. Looking at the league table, we finished third, which is a really good achievement. To finish third out of 18, considering the amount of players we sold in the summer, is a really solid achievement. We didn't get loads of goals. Looking at it, there's a lot of teams who scored a lot more goals than us, which, you know, we finished quite a way down there in terms of goals scored. However, our defensive record, we conceded 7 goals in 17 games, and those 7 goals were conceded in all the losses. We actually got 5 0-0 draws. So to only concede in 3 games and to get 14 clean sheets, fantastic achievement by the defence, and hopefully we can build on that going into the future. So coming up, we have got the quarterfinal of the first Division Open. I'm going to be covering them next episode and then live coming the semi-final if we get that far. But looking at our run of form, and Pumas are a very good team, it's not going to be very easy, and I think we may struggle. We've just struggled of late, and I'm still kind of tinkering with the tactics to get something that I'm happy with, because it just feels like some games we just can't score. But anyway, looking at the competitions, can we filter out friendlies? We can. Can I just get rid of friendlies? Okay, so we will start with the first division, and then from there we can move into other stuff. So these are the fixtures that you can see. I'm not going to cover all of these in too much detail, but I'll cover the ones where I feel necessary. And because this is episode 40, this is going to be quite a long episode, so get comfortable, make a butt groove in your desk chair or your sofa or your bed or wherever you're watching this, because we're going to be here for a few minutes. But anyway, first game of the season, home tie to Atlanta. We got a really good result this game, 3-0, really solid win. Looking at the stats, perhaps fortunate to win by the margin we did, but nevertheless, the team played really well. And so far this season, there's been 2 massive standout players, and those have been Jaramillo and Quinones. I can't pronounce his name. You can see him there, Quinones, that's his name. Him and Jaramillo have been fantastic this season. I mean, Jaramillo is the league's top goal scorer, I believe, or he's certainly up there. To start the season, he got 12 goals in 12 games, which was mental. Unfortunately, he's kind of faded off towards the end of the season, and because we rely on him as a, I guess, lone striker, it would explain why we haven't scored in our last 3 league games, which is a little bit worrying, but hopefully we can set that right come the, I guess, playoff games against the Pumas. But anyway, as I said, this was just a really comfortable 3-0 win. 2 of the goals already, goal clear on the counter-attack. And it was Jaramillo with his 2nd goal on his debut to grab it. He's been a fantastic free transfer since he came to us. To be honest, a lot of the free transfers I bought in, who were just kind of cheap replacements for this season and for this kind of league before we get a bit more money in as the loan finally gets repaid off, those players have come pretty big for us, and I'm looking forward to being able to add to the squad now, because I've been given some more transfer budget. I've been given 4.6 million, and our wage budget's been greatly increased, and I'm hoping to really just strengthen up the squad over the winter period, get some players in on pre-contracts for in the summer, and really look to build from there. I've got a few players on my radar, so hopefully when they come in we can really make something of, I guess, bringing in some important players and strengthening the squad in all the areas. But anyway, moving on from that 3-0 win, we had a tough away tie to San Luis. They won the league 3 times back-to-back in the not-too-distant past. In fact, I think they won it like a year ago, was their 3rd title in a row. So they're a very good team in this league. At the end of the day, we didn't take any chances that we had. We had one shot on target, and you can't win a game if you have one shot on target. Anyway, moving on from that, we had a game against UDG, which we won 3-0, another 3-0 win, and Jaramillo getting another brace. Castilloge, what a name. Jos, I don't even know. These names, I need to just go to a place like England where I can just say their names. But anyway, nevertheless, 3-0 win, very convincing. You can see the stats. I haven't got time to show you all the highlights from these games, but I'm going to do my best to show you some of the important ones. Anyway, moving on from this, we had a game against Cruz Azul, the team who absolutely dominated us before. They tore us a new bumhole at the end of last season in the playoffs, and it was really important going away to them that we showed that we'd made some progress and didn't get hammered 3-0. And to be fair, the players did themselves proud this game. It was a very 50-50 game. A 0-0 draw was probably just about fair, and for the last 20 minutes we were playing a man down. So 0-0, very hard, like kind of grinded out result, and I was very happy with that one. We then had a game against Monterrey, won this game 2-0, Jaramillo on the score sheet as well as Quinones. This guy came in on a free. I kind of wanted him just as a attacking playmaker kind of in the midfield. More of a short-term, I guess, option, but he's been fantastic. The 20-year-old has done a fantastic job for us in his 13 appearances so far this year, averaged a rating of 7.47. Which obviously is absolutely ridiculous. And in the Continental competitions, which I'll move on to after the league form, he's got 4 goals in 4. So you really can't argue with that. Fantastic free transfer for us, and he's come out really big for us. Anyway, moving on from the Monterrey win, we managed to grab our first away win of the season on the third time of asking against Irapuato. You see, some of these names I've not even said before out loud, so now that I'm trying to kind of sound them out like a primary school kid. I know how much you guys love my pronunciations, and I'm guessing most of you are hoping I stay in foreign countries for as long as possible just so you can see me butcher names around the world. I mean, that's what the Pentagon Challenge is really. It's me kind of progressing as a manager and making progress, but at the same time it's just me butchering various names around the world with pronunciations that sound like I don't even know what they sound like. They sound like I'm talking gibberish, and half the time I think I am talking gibberish. But nevertheless, this was a really good result because Irapuato were a struggling team in our league, and we went 1-0 down to them after 47 minutes, and I mixed up the tactics, threw a few men forward, and we managed to get a 3-1 win. We got 3 goals in the second half from a goal down. Another fantastic attacking display, I guess, by the attacking midfielders. And it was just a really well worked result. I mean, Ramirez has been another good player for us. He's kind of been second choice striker and I guess an alternative attacking midfielder for our formation to play behind Jaramillo up at the top of the pitch. But as I said, fantastic performance by the lads here. Got our first goal back not too long after they scored, but we had to wait until the last 10 minutes to grab 2, which really ensured the win. Made it nice and comfortable for us, but I don't know, it's been weird. I have still been fiddling around with the tactics just because I can't seem to get a tactic I'm happy with, and I'm hoping I want to adapt to more of a... I've been playing with 5 at the back obviously for a long time, and I would like to switch to a 4 at the back formation consisting of a 4 and then a 5 in midfield and then maybe a lone target man with 3 really kind of, I want to say kind of Ronaldo-esque midfielders, you know, 3 attacking midfielders in the left, centre and right who have got pace, are going to run at defences and really cause them hassle. So that was a good 3-1 win. Just a quick look at the tactics actually, because I have been mixing them up. Most of the time I've been playing with the lone forward, which for the most part has been Jaramillo, but he's on international duty. But I've really kind of mixed around with this midfield. Sometimes I've played with a holding man, and then sometimes I'll move a man in here. Sometimes I'll switch to a kind of shape like this, an aeroplane. And I've not got really anything I'm happy with yet, but it's quite nice having this kind of formation because it is kind of very adaptable for me to just change the shape as I wish. I guess on demand, there's kind of lots of, I guess, ways you can adjust this depending on whether you want an attacking threat or a defensive threat, which has been one, I guess, benefit of this formation. For the most part, I've stuck with a 5 at the back with the 2 wing backs. In the not so distant future, I'd like to remove one of the centre backs and maybe play with a holding midfielder and then 2 midfielders like so, just so we have a bit more going forward, because that has been one problem this season. We've not been able to score during this Open League, and it's something that I think needs to be addressed over the kind of Christmas period when we have a break between the 2 seasons. But anyway, enough rambling about the tactics. Moving on from the game against Irapuato, we got a 0-0 draw against Jaguares, and then we got a 3-0 win against Lyon, who were bottom of the league. Really kind of dominant win, and Jaramillo grabbing another brace for us. Then had a tough away tie at Pachua, who have been surprisingly underperforming this year, but we did get a good win. We actually got all 3 goals because their goal was an own goal. Looking at the stats, a game that we probably smashed and grabbed a little, but at the end of the day we took our chances that came our way. Quinones getting on the score sheet, as well as Laceda, who got a cheeky header from a corner, so that was a good opening goal for us. We doubled our lead not far into the first half, 20 minutes in. Ball really pumped up the field. Our direct play being shown there. And this was a quite nice goal, really. It was just a good passing and moving between our attacking threat, creating space by stretching their narrow defence wide, and just finding the openings. So that made it 2-0. They did get a goal back through an own goal late on. I'm not going to bother showing you it, but it was just a really scrappy goal. So moving on from that result, we went to Pumas, who are a very good team, and we lost 1-0 to them, and we have got to play these guys in our kind of playoff game, so it's going to be tough. I mean, we lost to these guys 1-0. Looking at the stats, pretty 50-50 game. They edged possession, we had a few more shots. They had a player sent off after 58 minutes, but for the goal to come from a penalty, perhaps, I don't know. It was a draw, probably would have been a fairer reflection, but at the end of the day, when you're at home against a team like that, you need to score, and if you don't score, you're not going to win. Anyway, we bounced back pretty immediately against Toluca with a 2-0 away win. Ramirez and Jaramillo on the score sheet. As I said, Ramirez has been kind of a second fiddle to Jaramillo in terms of the lone forward role. However, in games where we're expected to win, I have occasionally thrown 2 men up top. And it worked in this game. This was just a really odd counter-attack. Ramirez closing down the defender. Ball ricochets to him really nicely, kind of rubber the green bounce, and a really tidy finish. I mean, he still had a lot to do when he got it on the halfway line, but credit to him, his explosive pace and good composure saw him get that in. And then we got our second goal of the game. Oh, okay, no, we're going to show you the red card, I think. Are we? Are we showing a red card? I don't know, we'll find out. Nope. The game's decided to show pointless highlights. Let me go to here. Okay, so anyway, our second goal of the game, after the game's decided to screw me over, was just another kind of well-worked goal, I suppose, just creating some space with our kind of big attacking threat, and in the end, Jaramillo finding that extra yard of space in their 18-yard box and able to bury it into the bottom left-hand corner. So that was that game. Another really important result for us, and it gave us some momentum going into the latter stages of the league. We then had our local rival, I guess, clash against Atlas, who are one of the former giants of the La Liga. I think it's Liga MX is Mexico's league, or the Mexican Prem, as I'll just call it for the benefit of this. But nevertheless, this was a really good performance. We went 2-0 up at half-time, and then we had a sending off. Quinones, having got on the score sheet and got an assist off the first goal, got sent off, which was a bit of a bummer. First goal was a bit of a stunner. Great ball in by Quinones, and Solario there to just bury it into the top left corner. I then got our second goal of the game from, I guess, hitting them on the counter as they countered on us. I mean, you can see we're leaving kind of the 2 men up in the attacking midfielder here, but to get the 3-0 win, especially after going a man down and having to play with 10 men through most of the second half, and in the local derby against I guess, not an amazing Atlas side, but a team who aren't a bad team by any stretch, they're a good mid-table team, was a really good result for us, and it kind of gave the team some confidence and gave me some belief going into the end of the season, where at this point we were right at the top of the table dominating, so lots of faith going in there. But as I said, Quinones got a really unnecessary red card, and I think it was just a straight red. But anyway, moving on from this, we did hit them on the break again. They were really throwing men up, obviously. When we're 10 men down, we've switched to 1 up front and just stuck one of the strikers in midfield. They're going to pile on some more pressure. However, slightly fortunate counter-attack, I guess, really caught them out. But nevertheless, I think we were worth our win. Looking at the stats, we certainly were the better team against Atlas, and it was a really good result. Anyway, just ploughing through these last few results because they are pretty boring. 0-0 draw against Tigres. We then came up against America MX, who are the Mexican America team. They're a really poor team in our league, and it was a really comfortable 3-0 win with Jaramillo, Castillos, and Victor Ramirez getting on the score sheet there. And then from there, another 0-0 draw. I mean, these three teams that we had at the end, Xolos, Tijuana, Morelia and Santos Laguna, three teams all really at the top of the table bidding for places. So in the end, to get 2 draws and a loss, although it looks bad on the face of it, other than the Morelia result, I would have taken the other 2 results. The 2 draws away were hard fought draws. And in the end, you know, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, at the end of the day, we were safely, I guess, qualified in the playoffs at that point. Would have been nice to beat them, but nevertheless, you know, Morelia and Santa Laguna finished ahead of us because of those last results. If we'd won them both, we would have got an easier tie and ultimately, I guess, had a better chance of getting through to the latter rounds. But we have got Pumas, as I said, coming up. Not going to be live coming that, so you'll have to stay tuned for the next episode to really see how we got on there. I guess a quick squad overview for you guys so you can see what's going on in terms of who I'm playing and who's performing. Alfredo Garcia has been out on loan for us, although he's top of appearances, he's really not. So starting with, I guess, our man of the season, and really been an odd kind of player. I brought in Jaramillo as a kind of, I don't know, he was a target man who I was going to swap with one of our other players we brought in, but as it's turned out, this guy's just hit some real form since he's come to the club. Not got the craziest stats, but since being at the club, 220 caps for Mexico, really showing that he can do it on the international stage. 11 goals in 17 games and 14 goals in 21 games in all competitions. So that's really good league form for him. We then have Castillos, who is now out with a suspension. However, he's been another really good player for us at the wing-back position. João Garcia in goal, of course, Mexico's #1 keeper. This guy was here when I first came to the club. Continues to be the best goalkeeper in the squad and indeed in the country. Laceda has been a fantastic player for us. This is probably going to be his last season. His contract expires at the end of the year. He's getting on a bit. He's going to be 33, you know, come the end of the season, and I think it'll be time for him to hang up his boots and maybe take a step down. We have Christian Alvarez here, who isn't the craziest centre-back, and there's actually a guy in the youth academy who I may well be promoting and playing instead of this guy, who's 18 years old. So this guy might be on the move in the near future, depending on what money I can get for him. Quite a lot of players, as you can see, playing 21 games. I have tried to keep the core of the team as similar as I can when possible. So as I said, Jaramillo has been one of the top goal scorers, but Alfredo Quinones has been another really standout player for us. Another guy who came in on a free, really doing it for us here at the big time. 17 appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists, 3 man of the matches. The one sending off, which I talked about in the Atlas game, averaging a rating of 7.59. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. And in fact, if you look at the seasonal average ratings, there's only 3 players who have played for us who haven't averaged above a 7. So that really gives you an indication of how good the team is. Another thing you'll notice is that how kind of compact the team is. The fixtures have been fairly kind to us, and all our players have been fairly fit, and so I haven't had to rotate the squad too much, and they've already turned up big, and so I've been able to keep the core of my team the same for most of it. Just a final thing on the squad, I'm going to cover Miguel Angel Torres. This guy is developing. This guy's going to be huge, I can already tell you that. I mean, bought him in for £1 million in the summer. His stats have been steadily improving. He's played 16 games for us with 2 assists, averaging a rating of 7.2 in his first kind of season as a player for us. Progressed nicely in all areas, really. It's nice to see kind of all his stats improving equally as a centre mid. Hopefully going to get his defensive stats rounded off that a little bit more in the next few years. But this guy's become Chivas' youngest ever goal scorer, I think. Did he score? Yeah, when he scored in his non-competitive game, he became the youngest ever goal scorer, which was good for him. And really, I'm really excited by this guy. Looking at his stats, he's got leader written all over him. A few of his hidden stats, you know, like the ones that you can't see, are a bit iffy and are reflected by his unsporting personality. However, plan is to get a professional, professional personality player to tutor him and really kind of get him up to that professional standard I want him to be at. So he's been a really good player for us, and he'll be good coming into the future. So that's the league form covered. A quick look at our Champions League bid. The Champions League group stage in North America, basically there's 3 teams in each group, and I think there's 8 groups. Each team plays each other twice. We had a very easy draw against Portmore United and La Fiperlio from, what country is that? El Salvador and Jamaica. So 2 very small teams. And we dominated the league. I don't think really a lot needs to be said, so I'll just quickly cover these. Jaramillo getting on the score sheet twice, and Miguel Angel Ponce getting on the score sheet as well in that game. Then a 4-0 win against La Firpo, we'll go with that. Quinona getting a hat-trick this game in the first 20 minutes of the game, which was pretty crazy. And in fact, getting a hat-trick in 14 minutes, which, I don't know, I've not seen many hat-tricks quicker than that on FM. Maybe if you've seen a quicker hat-trick, leave it in the comments. We then got a disappointing 1-0 win against Portmore. Being all honest, it could have been a lot more. So in the end, 1-0 wasn't a bad result. Got the 3 points on the board. And then we conceded our only goal of the group stage against La Firpo in a convincing 5-1 win. It was pretty much a consolation goal for them when they were already 4-0 down. So that's that kind of form. I'm trying to remember if there's anyone on the transfer front that we've got coming in. Oh, okay, yes, there is. So there's 2 players I'm looking at the moment. One is Jose Antonio Valesquez. I can't say this name. Valesquez, what a name. But this guy's not a bad player. Good creative centre attacking mid. Really bringing him in as a bit of backup to the centre attacking mid position. And I'm also looking at bringing in Oscar Serrato with the transfer budget we were given of 4.25 million. I've made a bid of 6.5 million with a future fee spread over 48 months. It's going to be paid back at about £75,000 a year, which is not a lot really. That won't impact on our financial stability. So hopefully he'll come. Just a quick look at his stats because they are mental. As you can see, absolutely ridiculous anchorman. If we can get him in, he'll be a fantastic signing. So a quick look at the financial stage. As you've seen, obviously we've got the league playoff coming up soon, but in terms of the financial front, just 2 months left of paying off this loan, and then we really should be in good stead. We're already being predicted to make a profit this year, which is something that we've not seen for a very long time. And you can also see, just looking at the graph, the way the money goes up every season as we sell players in June. You can kind of see the sixes, you know, every June the money spikes up. It didn't go up a lot this year, which the season before I came in, which may explain why the manager got sacked. But in reality, financially we should be good once we get this loan paid off. So guys, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Hopefully we'll be talking to you, or rather I'll be talking to you in the semi-finals of the opening season. However, I guess you guys will have to stay tuned to find out. This has been episode 40 of the Pentagon Challenge. Bit of a longer episode for you guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series as ever. I'm really enjoying being in Mexico actually. It's taken a while to get to grips with all the funny rules and I guess the scenario that I had at Chivas with the money and only being able to sign Mexican players. But I finally feel as if I'm flourishing under, I guess, the pressures that come with this job. So if you could leave the video a cheeky like, guys, would be really appreciated. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.